In the earlier part of this video, we have completed Margaret Mead and Ruth Benedict of Culture Personality School. In this video, we are going to talk about Ralph Linton. First, he was an archaeologist during the early stage of his life, and he was involved in the archaeological expedition which was happened in Hawaii or Chile. While doing so, he became interested in the cultural practices. While doing so, he became important in cultural practices. He took interest in culture practices of the Hawaiians with special reference to their kinship, socialization, family system, rituals, ceremony, material culture, and several dimensions of local culture that he became interested in studying. Now, Ralph Linton believed that these cultural practices are closely connected to personality of member. So these cultural practices are closely connected to the personality. These cultural practices are closely connected with the personality of member, and he published his major work as The Cultural Background of Personality. The cultural background of personality. He explored the interface between personality traits of the majority of member with the cultural practices, and the cultural ideologies and values are very central to the personality formation, and central values have a direct bearing on human behavior. So it means that the cultural practices which was being practiced in Hawaiians, he found that it is linked to the personality. How? Because some of the member or majority of the member of the community, they had the common type of personality, and their personality was basically reflected as a cultural practices in a society, and cultural values have a direct bearing on human behavior. Every culture has a common personality. He says that every culture has a common personality. Here, every culture, it means that the majority of member of that culture has a common personality, which relates to the fact that majority of these members possess the similar cultural trait. Majority of member, that is what we talk. And growing up as a member of community require imbibing of the cultural values, and that is how the basic personality is shaped. So if a person who has to live in this culture or this society S1, then he or she will have to adapt to this culture, that is C1, which is the majority of the member, and that leads to the common personality development of a culture. Now he used three concepts. They are real culture, second is ideal culture, and the third is cultural construct or culture construct. Now we have to understand each one of them. So as far as the culture, real culture is concerned, it is actual culture. Or the culture which is practiced on the ground. The ideal culture, it means that it is a culture which is philosophical, and which should be practiced. And cultural construct refers to what anthropologist or a researcher writes about that. What anthropologist writes on that. So first, real culture, it means that how that culture is. Second is ideal, basically it is philosophical, how it should be. And the third is cultural construct. Culture construct, it means that what an anthropologist or researcher would write about that particular culture will come under cultural construct. Now, the difference between the real and ideal culture can be explained by examining the mechanism facilitating cultural learning. To examine the process of cultural learning, Linton used an idea of universal traits, alternative, and specialities. So cultural universal, it means that when we will do culture as a chapter, that is 2.1, we have completed a chunk of this particular chapter, but certain topics such as contribution of Ralph Linton you'll find there, but now you'll do this contribution here: cultural universal, cultural alternative, and cultural specialties. So we'll do it here only. So that particular topic comes under there, and even the various contribution of Ruth Benedict, Ralph Linton, you'll find this contribution in cultural anthropology, socio-cultural anthropology, chapter 2.1. But right now we will do what this particular means, that is cultural universal. So cultural universal implies that these are those aspects of culture which are found in all member of culture with all culture. So cultural universal are some of the cultural traits which are present in all members of that culture, or which are present in all culture in different proportionate or different types. Now the second is cultural alternative. It means that cultural alternatives are available choice with the member. Cultural alternative is available choice with member. Third is specialities. So cultural specialities are found with few members and not with all. So cultural specialties are found with few members and not with all. An individual grow up either by adhering to cultural universal, or by adopting cultural alternatives, or by becoming cultural specialist. That is how an individual grow. So individual grow adhering to these three ways. Thus Linton explained the mechanism or linkage between culture and personality. So Linton, he basically attached culture and personality, and basically their interaction between both of them. To conclude, for Linton, culture is a product of human need. Even you can write down this as a definition of culture, but the most used definition is of E.P. Tyler, of culture. So according to Linton, culture is a product of human need. Culture is a product of human need, which are of three types. The first is emotional needs. Second is long-term security needs. First is emotional, second is long-term security need, and third is intellectual need. And these are the needs which are basically fulfilled by the mechanism of culture. To fulfill this, the individual seeks answer in culture, and because of the differentials dealing different cultural types have been produced, Linton was influenced by Malinowski and also Gardiner. Linton was influenced by Malinowski, our functionalist, and Gardiner. Abraham Gardiner, he is also culture personality. He belongs to culture personality school. Abraham Gardiner, he basically talk about the basic personality. Gardiner, he talks about the basic personality. We are going to do Gardiner in the next video, okay? And Malinowski, he talked about a model personality. That how a personality should be. He talks about how personality is. So in this video we basically talked about Ralph Linton, short note, and all his contribution which are important in order to fit this criteria of 150 words and 250 words. So I hope you have written this time these points, and these are going to be very important. As far as our Telegram group is concerned, find Keystone Education by Pratik Kode. You will find this Telegram channel. I'll share a link where you can even post your answers over there. Thank you. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, this is very important. Please subscribe to my channel. I have to complete this 1000 subscriber by after which I can come live and teach. Thank you so much.